Punk Revolution now! Today we are going to be reviewing Playboi Carti's album, Whole Lotta Red. I cannot think of an album that has come out this year that has been as hyped up as this one, from myself included, because I freaking love Playboi Carti, okay? One night, a while back, I got really high and listened all the way through Dial It, and it just clicked with me how freaking epic his really flexible, strange, weird vocal delivery is that's extremely unique, coming together with his oftentimes fuzzy cloud rap beats that are very melodic along with his vocals. It's just ear candy. His music sounds so freaking good. I'm a believer of Playboi Carti, and I was hyped for this album too, and then it comes out, and you got Whole Lotta Red, came out Christmas Day. One of the most polarizing albums I've ever seen, ever. Maybe the most, honestly. Like, the last time I remember an album this polarizing was Kanye West's Yeezus, which was a long time ago, so this is fucking polarizing, and there's a good reason why, because it is a complicated album to wrap your head around, to figure out how you feel about it, because it's just so fucking weird. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's start by taking a look at the album cover. This is an interesting album cover. I don't really think it's necessarily the most good-looking and coolest-looking album cover, but it is a reference to Slash Magazine, which I think is a very interesting choice. Because Slash Magazine is a pretty important magazine in the history of punk rock. Because in the late 70s and early 80s, when all these independent punk and hardcore punk bands were coming up, they didn't have big record labels to get their music out there, so these punk bands were like really dependent on various punk magazines to help get their music out there, and Slash Magazine was a really important one. So Playboi Carti, you know, he kind of has this sort of like punk vampire trap artist aesthetic. I don't really fully understand it because he references to himself as being punk, but like there's nothing really punk about his music whatsoever. Honestly though, if there is one Playboi Carti release you could kind of get away with calling a bit punk, I think your best bet would actually be Whole Lotta Red, because you need to understand the context of this release, okay? So we have Dial It, his debut album, just such a satisfying fucking listen. Everything just sounds so good. The production is wonderful. There's so many like beautiful little melodies interwoven throughout. It's just like such a pleasant album, like warm and fuzzy, almost mildly shoegazy, like a warm, fuzzy drug. And then you got Whole Lotta Red, a ton of hype, comes out on Christmas Day, and it is really unpleasant. Really dissonant synths, really jarring, strange melodies that just are so awkward and kind of bizarre mixing. Like, it's a weird thing. Like, you got people on Twitter who are saying, I listened to 10 minutes of it, I couldn't get through any more of it because it's just trash. This album sucks. And then you got people who are saying, no, this album is actually a freaking masterpiece, and it's intentionally dissonant and weird and strange for the high IQ listeners to be able to enjoy it, while all the normies on Twitter are too stupid to understand the genius of Playboi Carti. Just take Metamorphosis for an example. The main hook on that song is Metamorphosis, 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 or something like that. It's just weird as fuck over these like really dissonant like humming by Kid Cudi. It sounds so exotic, and the mixing is trash on this song. Like, there's no wonder people are listening to this and just freaking saying, I can't listen to this album. And honestly, believe it or not, Metamorphosis is actually one of the most accessible songs on the album. It's a weird thing, but frankly, two things. One, I believe a lot of this weirdness is very intentional, and two, I frankly really freaking like it. I like it because it is a really unique thing. I mean, Playboi Carti already delivered a lot of very unique music throughout his discography with his unique vocal delivery, coming together with these interesting beats that aren't utilized too often in mainstream hip-hop. Wonderful stuff, okay? And now he's delivering something unique again. Maybe it's not the satisfying, Dial It Playboi Carti that we all wanted, including myself, but he did something different, and I really respect that. It's just a really unique album. And honestly, what keeps me coming back to this album and why I'm so like intrigued by it is, like I said, this is clearly intentional stuff. You listen to his vocals, listen to the lyrics he's saying here. These are really dark lyrics about death and his brother's death and abusing drugs and psychosis and wanting to kill people. I mean, these lyrics are really fucking dark stuff. This is not a happy party. So of course, if you're having this extremely theatrical vocal performance by Playboi Carti, sounds like he's losing his fucking mind, you better have some beats beneath that also sound fucking like like they're losing their minds too. I do think it's intentional stuff. I don't think Playboi Carti just lost his mind and had a bunch of people telling him, hey, Playboi Carti, this sounds good when it sounds bad. No, I actually think this sounds good. But maybe he went a little bit too overboard, because the mixing on this album actually kind of sucks ass, really. Like, that's kind of unexcusable, and it makes me scratch my head, because what happened here? Did the record label maybe rush this album so they could release it on Christmas Day, so they didn't get time to fine-tune every little beat in the mixing? Big mistake, maybe. Maybe Playboi Carti purposely asked Kanye West, who's executive producer, to purposely make these mixes sound a little bit rough. They honestly sound like freaking like amateur SoundCloud beats. That's how bad they're mixed. Even though the beats themselves are good, just the volumes are it just hurts your ears. The bass is so blown out. So anyways, as I was saying, maybe Playboi Carti purposely asked Kanye West, hey, can you make these beats a little bit more rough to fit with my kind of punk, dark, evil aesthetic that I'm going for here? And Kanye West said sure, and then he ended up making up the beats that sound a little too rough and not so good. Or maybe Kanye West, who's executive producing it, let's be honest, Kanye West he doesn't have the magic touch he used to. Maybe he just fucked the album up because he's a fucking idiot. Who knows? Point is, the mixing sucks, and if you have bad mixing and bad mastering on top of already pretty abrasive music when everyone's expecting some really pleasant, wonderful dialect too, well, you're gonna get people who are listening think this is freaking trash. I don't like the mixing. Playboi Carti sounds like he's dying. It's an artistic thing he's going for. He just kind of fucked it up. He fucked up the mixing. Maybe this track list is too long and not very cohesive. You know, he could have cut some of these tracks out. He really could have used more features. I think a lot of people underestimate how important the features in Die Lit were, because, you know, Playboi Carti, he's got this unique vocal delivery. You're gonna want some more traditional vocalists to come and rap in there to kind of separate Playboi Carti's, because, I mean, if you're just getting Playboi Carti nonstop like you're getting in this album, it does get tiring, you know, and I do think there's a reason why Teen X and Metamorphosis, which do have features, why those are some of the better songs, is because, you know, Kid Cudi's vocals, he comes in, he's got this wonderful voice that just is like so, it's just such a beautiful contrast with Playboi Carti's vocals. This album could have used a little bit more contrast. Features would have helped. Better mixing would have helped. It does get monotonous. It's not easy to listen to start to finish, even though there are some songs on this album, a lot of songs on this album that I freaking think kick ass and I just have stuck in my head all day. It's catchy. It's catchy. If you can make shit sound catchy, I respect it. And that's what he does here. This could have been a much better album, just with a few little mistakes if they were cleaned up. But I do respect it. I do think some people are gonna say this is his best album. Some people are gonna say this is by far his worst. I think all these opinions are acceptable. For me, I think this is really good with some mistakes that take it down quite a big notch. I'm giving this a 7.8 out of 10. I'm happy with it. Not the release I necessarily wanted, but it does make me respect Playboi Carti a little bit more, that he's willing to take such a big risk on such a massive release. You don't see that too often. Maybe re-listen to it if you hate it so much, and maybe if you think it's a masterpiece, maybe you should consider that maybe there actually are some mistakes here that you should probably acknowledge. I think both people in this debate kind of need to see each other's sides and understand that no one's lying here. It seems like people are like, oh, you're just forcing yourself to like it because you were hyped up too much. No, you just don't like it because you just aren't smart enough to appreciate it. It's a dumb debate. I'm in the middle. I'm punk centrist now, I guess, today. I don't know. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Playboi Carti, you are a legend. I hope you watch this video. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. Please like, comment, subscribe. My channel is growing very fast because of all of you who are like, commenting, and subscribing. Thank you so much. Punk Revolution, now.